Is this how Lehi got to the land of promise?
Something mariners have known for centuries is that the world's seas and oceans have highways that move ships along just like modern freeways move cars.
Based on wind and gravity, the Earth's rotation, and the Coriolis effect, these oceanic highways, called seaway currents, flow in specific and known paths across the world, like this map of the numerous currents in the Indian Ocean, or the Gulf Stream, photographed by NASA off the east coast of the United States, which is what allowed Christopher Columbus to return to Europe from discovering the Americas. It was this discovery that enabled him to sail westward from Europe in 1492 and discover the Americas. Columbus sailed on currents that had always been there, but mariners didn't know about them. Thus, Columbus set sail from Spain and dropped down to the Canary Islands, where he picked up the Canary Current and swung west across the Atlantic on the North Equatorial Current to the Bahama Islands. And on the return voyage back to Spain, he took the Gulf Stream north and eastward across the Atlantic. In 1 Nephi, chapter 17, verse 8, the Lord spake unto Nephi, saying, Thou shalt construct a ship after the manner which I shall show thee, that I may carry thy people across these waters. The Lord knew exactly where he wanted Lehi to go and where he wanted him to land. So once the ship was launched, the direction of the ship was determined by two things. First, the direction the wind was blowing, and second, the direction the current was flowing. This is what is meant when Nephi said he was driven forth before the wind in 1 Nephi chapter 18, verses 8 and 9. That is, he was driven along the ocean roads or currents until he reached the land of promise. Thus, unlike today, Nephi's ship could only sail in the direction the wind and the ocean currents took it. So to understand where Lehi's ship went and landed, all we have to do is know where the winds blow and the currents flowed from the point where Nephi launched his ship. Nearly all scholars agree that Lehi's Bountiful was located along the coast of today's Sultanate of Oman, a small country on the southern edge of the Arabian Peninsula. And Lehi's Iriantum is today's Sea of Arabia, along the coast of the Salalah Plain. As Nephi launched his ship from there, it would have been caught up in the monsoon winds blowing off the coast of Arabia and India, called the northeast monsoon, which blows toward the southwest for 6 months of the year, and then back to the northeast for the other 6 months. As a result, we can see where Nephi's ship sailed by seeing where the winds blew off the southern coast of Arabia, and we can see where the winds and the currents of the Sea of Arabia took them. It is important to know that in the Indian Ocean there is a circular gyre, which is a counterclockwise current bounded by the African coast to the west, Australia to the east, the Sea of Arabia to the north, and the Southern Ocean to the south. This Southern Ocean, unlike the Indian Ocean, is a circumpolar current that flows eastward all around the world. As Nephi's ship entered that Southern Ocean current, called the west wind drift, driven toward the east by the prevailing westerlies wind, the ship would have headed east in the fast-moving current, taking it across the Pacific Ocean toward South America. So is this how Lehi got to the land of promise? Since this is how the winds and currents in the Sea of Arabia and Indian Ocean move, one might conclude that it is.
Hey, like and subscribe to Grandpa's video. Right now. You know, the button's just right here. Woohoo! Okay. Yeah. Come on, you need to push that button.